Hey guys, welcome back to Armchair Conversations with Rob. Still in the tattoo, sans the glasses, still wearing the shirt. I got some quick hits on questions from the last little rant I did about gratitude. I was kind of all over the place, but hey, do you know what this is? Um, and I wanted to field a couple of questions just to kind of increase the exposure. Um, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read a question that I got and field it basically with whatever answer I come up with at the time, because again, when we sit back and talk with each other, we kind of just sort of snap things off, based on what we're thinking at the time. And so I'm going to take probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 questions. Here goes. One of the questions that I got was, are you saying you should be grateful when people do mean or bad things to you? No. What I am saying is, it's not really about like when people do bad things to you that you have to find a way to make it work. Although I will share with you briefly a way to make that work, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, it's not really about anybody else. Ultimately, whatever happens in your life is more about you than it is about anybody else. What happens to you is really your fault. As far as what I mean by that is, there are people that come in to play their parts, but a lot of that is based on what you draw because of how you think, because how you think will shape what you do. Your environment is a reflection of that. Your body's a reflection of that. Your health, your wealth is a reflection of that. Because listen, I'm just as guilty, okay? I am working through the things that I'm thinking that are keeping me from the stuff that I want. And one of them was being brave enough to throw the camera on and get out here and say, hello, world. And so now I'm working through that one. But no, to go back to answering your question, no, you are not supposed to. Even though my predominant religion has been Christianity for most of my life, I do not believe that you have to turn around and turn the other cheek when people are rude to you, nasty to you, whatever. But you also don't have to give them a piece of your mind on their level. Let me say that again. You don't have to give them a piece of your mind on their level, which means that if they were mean to you, you don't have to come up, show your ass, and shake your head, and lay your head back, and whatever, okay, and tell them what you're going to do to them in the parking lot. No. You can come back at them with class and dignity and the style and the smile that makes you feel good and what's your true nature. But no, you don't have to take crap from anybody. But that's not about gratitude. That's about learning to stand up for yourself and also learning what you can and cannot put up with. But I will show you later on a little quickie about how to use some of that stuff to pick it out to make yourself feel good, because it's your nature to want to build yourself and to find ways to overcome challenges. I had another question about, well, why do you think it opens doors? Well, think of you. Who would you rather help? Somebody who appreciates what you did, no matter how small, or somebody who belittles, puts down, and makes fun of what you did? Pretty much that's it. If you're the kind of person that would help the person who belittled you, put you down, and made you feel bad, then you need to check out some of my other armchair conversations, because I talk a little bit about the fact that you can demand and expect good treatment. Um, and if you get it, you want to give more. If somebody appreciates me for giving them a penny, why would I not give them two another time? Because my expectation is that they are the kind of person who's going to appreciate it. And everybody wants to feel like their contribution is worth something. That one is definitely a talk for another time. Everybody wants to feel like their contribution is worth something. You don't want to give to people who are going to look down on it, spit on it, and make you feel like you shouldn't have bothered to give it in the first place. Because I'm definitely the person that, like, okay, I give you this gift here, and you say, oh, that's all there is. I'm more likely to say, oh, all right then, than I am, to go on and let you have it, and then be subjected to your ungratefulness. So I feel like it opens doors because it makes people who are receptive to it want to do more for you. Which kind of leads us back around into the original question about being grateful when people do mean or bad things to you. And I said no. Well, by the same token, it doesn't open doors for you when you are insincere in your gratitude, when you don't really mean it, but you're putting on a show. Okay? Because when you're putting on a show for somebody, like for example, who's treating you bad, that doesn't open doors for you. It makes you look like a doormat and a fool, because you do have to draw a line somewhere by standing up for yourself. So, what I mean by opening doors is that it is going to be um, more helpful to you to get attention, positive attention. It is more likely to get you extra favors at some point because people know that you appreciate it. They're more willing to share things with you, to share opportunities with you, to offer you opportunities. I mean, an employer who doesn't feel like you appreciate the fact that he pays you, and all you ever do is complain about how much it is and how little it is and how you can't get by on it, well, sorry, but that's your problem for accepting the job. So always complaining about what you get paid, and your expectation of, well, why you expect this much out of me? This is all you pay me, is for lack of a better word, excuse the French, everyone, bullshit. Okay, that doesn't open a door. It doesn't make an employer want to give you a raise, especially if your quality of work suffers. Um, that definitely doesn't make a employer or a person want to do more for you. It doesn't make an employer confident that if you get into a position of power, that you're going to use it wisely, and further the for quote unquote mission statement of the company, because companies have a mission. And if you can't even be grateful about the small beginnings of where you are, why the hell would they promote you? Let's just be honest about that. So that's kind of what I mean by opening doors. Doors not necessarily meaning just to wealth and perpetuity of corporate expansion. It means that people are more likely to do things for you again and again and again if they know that you appreciate them, which of course makes them feel good. And you too, if you're smart about what you're doing. So hopefully I answered that question. Um, this one I liked. What if I don't feel like it? Well, the part of me that says honor your authentic self says then don't. Don't be grateful. But I think it goes back to the other questions that I picked out about the fact that then don't expect that doors are going to open for you or that people are going to treat you nicely. Um, I mean, there are people who are not going to treat you nicely no matter what you do. But nevertheless, the people who are on the fence about that or who need to be treated nicely in order to reciprocate aren't going to do jack for you. Flat out. Let's think about it. They're not going to do jack for you. So, you know, it's not a question just of feeling like it. Um, the part of me that, again, honors the authentic self says then don't. But the part of me that knows that sometimes, even when you don't feel like it, you should, says to suck it up and do it anyway because somebody's willing to do something for you. Even if you don't feel like it, it doesn't take but 2 seconds to say, thank you, or I appreciate that. You don't have to turn cartwheels because I don't believe in being insincere. Okay, and there are people, and because I met a teacher once that was so over the top and enthusiastic about things like appreciation and um, building people up and saying kind things that it almost seemed fake. I had to watch her for months and years at a time to realize that it's not for her. That's the way she is. She shows that. Um, but not again, not everybody does that, but you can, and you don't have to do that when you don't feel like it. But when someone takes their time to do something for you, to help you, to show you something, and it actually is useful to you, take just a few seconds to say thank you, to say I appreciate it. um, you don't have to kiss ass, but you do have to say thank you. um, it doesn't hurt anything. And even if you don't feel like it, it's just the common sense response to something being done for you. So this isn't really about your feelings. This is about the right thing to do, or based on my philosophy of life, the right thing to do, which is to take the 2 seconds and say thanks, or to say I appreciate you, or to acknowledge that they've done something for you. Because you might be surprised in the thanking of them. You might start to feel more sincere, and you might start to feel good, and it might lead to other things you can be grateful about that day. Which leads me to the question, what if I have nothing to be grateful for? Well, at the risk of being a little crass and flat out, you know what? You got breath to bitch. You got breath to be grateful. Okay? You got life and breath and ability to whine and complain about your circumstances. That is at least the one thing to be grateful for, that I have the breath to voice my discontent. Really? Okay, nothing to be grateful for. You, even if you're alive and say in tremendous pain, you're alive. There's always something to be grateful for, and you have to figure out and be willing to grab it. Okay, whatever it may be. Which brings me back to the how to grab something grateful from people doing mean things to you, bad things to you. Someone does something bad to you. You can take it and be upset about it, or be offended, or stand your ground about it. But there is some teeny bit of gratefulness in there, because if nothing else, they're showing you just yet another way that you don't want to be like. And so you could take it from there. Just a touch. Just teach you take it from there and build on it. But you see what I'm saying? Okay. Um, so as far as having nothing to be grateful for, you got the eyes to write, the eyes, the lips, the ears, the nose, whichever one's missing, whatever, to voice that question, to voice your opinion, to complain about your life. Then you can at least be grateful that you have breath and life to vent your misery. Always something to be grateful for. Not buying that there's no such thing. Last but not least, give me an example of how to turn a bad thing into a good thing with gratitude. Okay. I'm a relatively older gentleman. I've been divorced. And there were times when financially it was a struggle to try to maintain um, sustenance for basically two families. Being grateful about that would be that it has taught me to become more resourceful. And that's helped me tremendously in other areas of my life. It's taught me to be stronger. It's taught me not to give up, to realize that brick by brick, I can chop it down and I can still change my life. And it's taught me to appreciate the good moments, because I had children. So therefore, I had to learn to, since they were not in my presence 24/7, appreciate the time that I spent with them. And so I learned to live in the moment a little more and stop worrying so much about the past or the future, and to live in the present, which is your gift. And so that's an example of how to turn a bad thing into a good thing with gratitude. So I've become grateful for the fact that I've become some things that have helped me along the way and are helping me to get out here and turn on the camera and talk to you guys and hopefully help someone. Um, and if nothing else, just to share a little bit of myself and be vulnerable somewhat for, people that are here listening and sharing my armchair. So you can absolutely turn bad things into good things by finding the pieces of them that serve you and that are going to be grateful for you. So just something to think about. Again, fielding some questions. You got more for me? Put them out there on any talk that I've talked about, or even on some crazy ass subject that you think I won't touch. Again, do something. Subscribe, ask questions, give me comments, feedback, whatever. Do something. And thank you for sharing my armchair. And I hope the rest of your day is awesome.